Okay, so to get the obvious thoughts out of the way, I know I'm really late to this. The update has already been out for a decent amount of time by now, and as of this being made, the largest update yet, which is going to contain Casino as well, is going to come out in only a couple of days, but I still feel like a review would be cool to make. Okay, getting to the gameplay though, one thing that I immediately noticed is that there's a lot more details in all the maps, and a lot of the objectives seem more lively. And this is something that could just be said about every mission in the campaign. There's a lot more buildings, there's a lot more structures when it comes to the maps, and just basic campaign rework stuff. Another thing I noticed when playing is how memorable in a way the new maps feel. Like, what I'm trying to say is that in the old version of Anzio, some of the maps were just kind of there to me, if that makes any sense. Like, there were a couple maps where I could easily remember them. Like, I could easily remember Anzio Express as the one with the railway cannon, or Leary River as the bridge one. But other than that, I personally didn't think that a large number of the missions in the original campaign had anything that made them really recognizable. But now, a lot of the missions have something that can be used to make them more memorable to play. This might not seem like something important, but I really think that it's something that shouldn't be overlooked, at least to me. Another thing that is here now is more vehicle variety. Like, there's a lot of vehicles used now, and still a lot of Shermans are used, but along with those are more vehicles, like different tank destroyers, different transportation vehicles, like the Bren carrier for the British and the Duck boat for the Americans. And more variety like this is always appreciated by me, since it makes the maps feel fresh and have more variety to playing them. Also, the campaign in its entirety is very good looking. The open fields along with the urban terrain sections look and play out really nicely, and they really pair up with the AI overhaul that came out a while back. And I feel like this can be said about all the reworked campaigns and missions that have been released since the AI rework. Adding on to that is a lot of the final objectives feel really significant now. There's a decent amount of missions in the game where, like, there's no build up really. It's just like, oh, this is the final objective. But a lot of the missions in Anzio now, they feel like, final objective actually means something. And I think it's also helped out by the little intro captions where it's like, oh, yada yada, the Americans are doing this, the Germans are defending. I think those help out a lot too when it comes to this. And once again, I think small things like this they don't make the biggest difference ever. Like, I'm sure I'd be fine with or without them, but still, small details count, and I think they add a lot. Back to the topic of vehicle gameplay though, I already thought that vehicle gameplay in the Legacy Anzio was already a bright spot, so I don't have much to say that was really improved. So yeah, not much, because it was already good. What I do think was improved is the balancing, because there used to be a lot of missions where it was like just total BS to try and attack some of the points as the allies. Like, I don't remember the exact mission, but there was this one where it was just this big open hill, and it was so difficult to try and capture it because you would just get shot from across the country and you really couldn't move up at all. It really didn't help at this time. The artillery, like the battleships and the howitzers in the back, they just couldn't hit anything to save their life. Like, they were firing with their eyes closed, and they would either miss horribly or would just bombard your team instead. And that was only in single player, so imagine that in multiplayer where the enemies are a lot more competent. Thankfully, they changed that, and a lot of the new missions are more reasonable for the attackers to win on. There's more cover. Yeah, there's a lot more, since there's going to be a lot of destroyed tanks, that's also more cover that's going to get used. So yeah, they just feel a lot better to play on, and I don't think open field missions are bad, but they could have been done better in the Legacy Anzio, and I feel like they did do that in the new one. Even just being on some of the emplacements like anti-tank cannons and machine guns feel a lot better to use now, thanks to how the maps are laid out, and it just makes everything feel more smooth, gives them more sight to be able to fire, which I'm really happy about because I like just sitting on anti-tank cannons all game. Another thing I really enjoyed were the railway missions leading up to the final mission, at least for the western portion of Anzio, where the Americans and the British were attacking together. They felt pretty similar to the
Tunisia, Tunisia,
yeah, those missions where both the Italian and German troops were present at the same time, which were some of my favorite maps in that campaign. And this is more of a me thing, but I'm so glad that they redid Anzio Express because that was my favorite mission from the original version. So it really made me happy to see the railway cannon have more of a spotlight and a lot more build up towards it, other than it just being the final objective and nothing more. Because I was sad that in the original, not a lot was done with it, but now it's like, there's a lot of foreshadowing with the huge just track, and on the final mission you finally see what all the tracks were for. So yeah, I think that was a really cool part of the campaign. So yeah, overall I think the Anzio rework was a big success, really improved on a lot of the original campaign while still keeping it as like a kind of starter campaign, if that makes any sense. Like, I've always seen Anzio as like the tutorial that's not the actual tutorial, like the first thing you start on. So I'm glad it's still kind of simple, but yeah, Casino's coming out tomorrow, big update coming out tomorrow, so yeah.